What's up, dudes? It's Enigma Hood. Or perhaps I should say... perhaps I should say... What's up, homies? There's this video of this fucking kid who says that at the beginning of the video, and I can't get out of my head. He's just like... No, he's doing the West Coast symbol, I think. He's going like this. What's up, homies?
What's up? What's up, homies? Shut up.
Today I want to talk a little bit about the label feminism. And it came about as a comment that I made on a video. Now, the video was talking about rape. And concepts like rape and stuff like that, it always baffles me that an issue like rape could possibly be divisive or divisive, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Is it divisive? Is that even a fucking word? I just heard it before, but whatever. Okay, divisive. But it is, apparently. And people in the comment section of that video kept on talking about, they tried to derail it by misdirecting to issues of rape against men. And it reminded me so much of how racists would try to point out racism against white people, or how Christians were being persecuted in America. That's not to say that it's impossible for there to be racism against white people or for Christians to be persecuted, but it's a very, very different situation when the majority is supposedly being victimized. And the cases where they are victimized are when in the specific community in question they happen to be a minority. But for them to be victimized on a nationwide scale in America, that's not happening. So when people actually bring these issues up, it reveals their true colors as bigots. In this case, when we're talking about rape, they're misogynists. And it's quite evident that all they're doing when they're trying to talk about male rape, they keep on saying, how many times have males been raped? Why are you talking about female rape so much? How many times? It's the same amount, same rates. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. I mean, they keep on saying that men are raped at the same rate as women, or as many men are raped as women. Maybe you guys can inform me whether that's true or not. I have no fucking idea. I do know that prison rape goes on, but I can tell you this much. These guys don't give a flying fuck about men being raped. The reason why they're doing this is they're trying to denigrate the crime of rape against women. And that always baffled me. Like, even if you don't have a mother, even if you don't have a sister, I mean, everyone has a mother, but maybe, like, your mom abandoned you or whatever. Fine. Like, there has to be something inside of you to make you empathize with a woman being raped. I mean, it's the most horrific crime that could ever happen to a woman. And it just sickened me so much that I had to make a comment pointing out how these people are really being rape apologists. And one dumb fucker accused me of being a feminist, which brings me to the topic of this video. Am I a feminist? Do I identify as a feminist? So those are two different questions, actually. For the latter question, I would say I don't identify as a feminist. If I am a feminist, then I'll let someone else label that for me. But personally, I don't identify as a feminist. And you might think that those are the same thing, right? Like, if I don't, how I identify and what I am, that should be the same thing. But it's not necessarily the same thing, right? Because you can have atheists who don't identify as an atheist, but obviously they are atheists. Now, why don't I identify as a feminist? The reason that I don't, personally, is because I'm not entirely sure what a feminist is supposed to be. If it means supporting the equal rights for women, then I guess I am a feminist. I'm just kind of baffled as to why that there has to be a label for that, I mean, I'm in favor for equal rights for everyone, whether it's women, racial minorities, homosexuals, everyone. So why all of a sudden do I have to give a special label for this? I mean, I'm in favor for equal rights for black people. Am I a black manist? It's just kind of peculiar in that sense. But okay, maybe it really does just mean equal rights for women. But the problem is that, yeah, there is some baggage associated with feminism that elicits an inimical reaction from some people that are really against feminism. And some of that criticism is legitimate, mind you. It is legitimate. And I have first-hand experience with that kind of thing. You watch my previous video on how fucked up atheism plus is, you know that I have some serious issues with that kind of radical feminism, like to the point of where you can't even criticize a woman without being attacked viciously, and unprovoked. Obviously, I don't agree with that brand of feminism. But you could also make the same argument that the same thing is true for atheism as well, right? That's also a reason why a lot of people don't want to identify as an atheist, because there are some negative connotations, some of them justified, some of them unjustified, with identifying as an atheist. Usually when you identify as an atheist, then it's kind of taken upon you that you do have to be active in your opposition to religion. Some people, typically, let's face it, most people who do identify as an atheist do take an active opposition to religion, but that is not actually atheism, that's anti-theism. It just so happens that most people who identify as an atheist are also anti-theist. And so maybe the same could be true about feminism. Maybe it is true that most people that do identify as feminists really are, in fact, radical feminists. And I personally don't want to be associated with that type of feminism, because that's not what I am. I am in favor for equal rights for everyone. But at the same time, I'll make jokes about women. You've seen my previous videos. I'll make jokes about women. I'll make jokes about sex. And I'm sure that there are many feminists out there who would be appalled by my jokes and would consider me to be a sexist, which is just as stupid as accusing me of whatever. I had in my mind what an idiot was. Oh yeah, being a feminist. Yeah, it would be just as stupid as accusing me of being a feminist by a misogynist. That's what that person was doing when he was calling me a feminist. He was using that in a pejorative way. So calling me a feminist would be the same thing as a feminist calling me a sexist, because you don't really know me. And that also leads me into my next point about categories in general. I find categories, period, at all, when it comes to anything, to be, how do I put it? Categories are limiting. They're limiting. I mean, like, that's not how reality is, right? Reality is not confined to categories. It is what it is. And for us, the reason why we even come up with categories in the first place is because our brains like to organize information in categories, in compartments, to help better process them, rather than having all the information strewn about. But the fact of the matter is that reality doesn't always fit into our categories nice and neatly. I'll give you a basic example that doesn't have anything to do with controversial issues. Cell phones, or I should say smartphones, tablets, and then you have phablets. Like, they originally had a category called a smartphone, then they had a category called tablets, but then all of a sudden tablets became smaller and smaller, and then they came out with some new cell phones that were bigger and bigger, and then they started coming up, well, at what point does it become a phablet? Maybe you heard that term before. It becomes very nebulous, as you can imagine. And the other obvious category problem that we encounter is, what is a species? Well, we usually say something along the lines of a population that can interbreed with one another and produces fertile offspring. The problem is that there are plenty of exceptions to that rule. You'll encounter life forms within the same species that actually can't reproduce with one another and produce live offspring, or live offspring at all. They're called ring species. You can look that up on Wikipedia. And then occasionally you'll encounter the exact opposite, where you'll have two animals that are a different species, like polar bear and brown bear, and they can interbreed and produce fertile offspring, but yet we consider them to be different species. So as you can see, reality does not reflect our categories. Categories are nothing more than a mental construct to help humans understand information, but the categories do not actually exist in real life. That's why I don't like this category of feminism, because I am what I am. I'm in favor for equal rights, but at the same time I'm going to make sex jokes, and I'm going to make jokes about women just like I make jokes about men. And some people are going to take offense to that and accuse me, and the last thing they would accuse me of is being a feminist. Well, I am going to be what I am. Alright? I'm not going to fall rigidly into your little fucking categories. So that's my excuse for not being a feminist. But I want to know what you guys think and how you feel about feminism. So post in the comment section what you think. This is Enigma Hood signing off.